Can you control the violence living inside of you? Now it's time to burn, burn, burn. There's no hiding out from your fate. See them lying down on the ground.
Well. Welcome to the Bad Bob Show. Hey, we got some great stuff today for you. How's everybody doing out there? Hey, just want to let you know we got the awesome, the best, Alexander the Great, better known as Base God 14. What's up?
Yes, hello. I'm happy to be here, Rob, producing the show for you today. I think we got some good topics for tonight. You want to let everybody know what we're going to be talking about?
Yeah, a couple things. Right now, I just want to let everybody know that the Republicans are killing it. They are killing it out there. All you people out there think all the Democrats are going to win. I don't think so. I think the Republicans got that one wrapped up pretty good. The House, Senate, hey, probably the presidency as well. Yeah, we'll see. Yeah. Anyways, we also got some other things. Got some Netflix problems going on out there. Got some buddies that used to have it, don't have it no more. And some other big topics out there like Mr. Elon Musk. See a lot of you guys want to talk about that guy for some reason, but you know what? So do we. He's a pretty cool dude. He got some new stuff out there. He has some new cell phones that everybody's drooling over right now. It's all part of his big Starlink program. Oh, yeah. Everybody's already hopping on board trying to buy those suckers. I don't even know where to buy them. So if you buy them, let me know. I'm going to check them out and see if I
Well, you want to start off with that one, Rob? With this
let's start
Starlink
that
article
off.
I got?
Yeah,
Okay.
let's do that.
So, let me bring up the article here.
It's pretty interesting. A lot of people are talking about it. I didn't hear about it until today and thought, hey, you know what? I think the public should know a little bit more about that because I think it's pretty cool.
All right. You see the article, okay, from Space News?
Oh, yeah. There we go.
Okay, so this is a Space News article. It is dated October 11th, 2022, so about 7 days ago. Today's broadcast is on October 18th. And it says, Space News, jumping on the direct-to-sell bandwagon. And I kind of like this graphic here, Rob. If you can see it, it actually is. It looks like an Apple iPhone, and it's got this little app on here, and it says, connected. Turn left to stay connected to satellite. And we've got an image of a satellite up here in the corner for our listeners on Spotify that are not able to see these images. But I think it's kind of a fun little image that they put together here, Rob. Do you like that?
Yeah, that's that's Starlink. That's that new that's that whether they're like 500 of those things surrounding the planet right now.
Well, Apple is not using Starlink. So here, let me show you the article. Okay. So former mobile dead zones could be teeming with life in coming years as more satellite operators consider jumping in to provide connectivity directly to standard phones. The momentum behind the direct-to-cell capability has shifted into a higher gear following early product launches, big-name announcements, and the progress startups are making for their dedicated cell phone constellations. After years of rumors, smartphone makers Apple and Huawei, by the way, if I'm butchering that, I apologize. That's the Chinese cell phone company, recently launched models capable of connecting to a partner's satellites for emergency messaging services. Apple's iPhone 14 and Huawei's new flagship Mate 50 series can facilitate limited SOS services beyond the reach of terrestrial cell towers, without a bulky handset antenna that usually accompanies satellite-compatible phones. Now, we got a picture here of Mr. Elon Musk, and the caption reads, T-Mobile CEO Mike Sievert and SpaceX CEO Elon Musk announced plans for direct-to-cell phone satellite services at SpaceX Starbase test site in Texas. They didn't give a date for this. It says, in August, SpaceX unveiled plans to provide direct-to-cell services for emergency assistance and beyond in partnership with U.S. mobile operator T-Mobile. These include text and picture messaging services available in the United States as soon as late next year. T-Mobile CEO Mike Sievert said this during an August 25th event at SpaceX Starbase in Texas. Voice, video streaming, and other high bandwidth capabilities could come at an unspecified time after that. While Apple is using Globalstar's satellite spectrum, and Huawei is leveraging China's space-based Beidou, by the way, again, if I'm mispronouncing, Beidou navigation constellation. SpaceX would use T-Mobile's terrestrial wireless frequencies to connect phones outside of cellular networks. Instead of broadcasting from cell towers, these frequencies would beam from upgraded Starlink satellites that SpaceX mostly uses to provide broadband services to fixed addresses. US-based startups Link Global and AST Space Mobile have a similar direct-to-cell strategy. They are busy forging alliances internationally to give their planned satellites access to the mobile operator spectrum, which would have more reach from space to serve a telco's customers while its terrestrial infrastructure cannot. It says there are 5 billion smartphones in circulation today, and mobile dead zones are prevalent even in countries with widespread G5 networks. More than 500,000 square miles of the United States are untouched by terrestrial cell signals from any provider, according to T-Mobile. So we've got multiple players in this sphere. It's not just Starlink. It's not just Elon Musk.
Yeah. Wow. Never even knew that. Well, I thought it was just Elon Musk. Yeah. All right. Well, at least we know something. That's good stuff coming.
But by the way, I don't know if you've been following this at all, but the Biden administration has put some limits on high-grade computer chips to China. And I can't help but wonder if these plans for Huawei are going to be complete pie in the sky, because if China can't get access to those high-grade computer chips, there's no way they're going to make that system work. It's just not going to work.
I thought China was making those chips.
Well, China makes the low-grade chips. So like let's say you have a chip in your toaster or your refrigerator or something like that. What they call like the Internet of Things. Like that's what China specializes in. But all the high-grade chips are made in other places, primarily United States, Taiwan, places like that.
So they're making it for the cars as well, right? That's low grade?
Yeah, like the ones for the cars, those my understanding is that's more like high grade, mid grade. So a lot of what the Chinese make is the low grade chips, again, sort of that what they call the Internet of Things, like maybe the chip in your microwave or something like that.
Yeah, because we're still waiting for we're trying to get a car for one of my kids, and they're still complaining out there they don't have the chips, and it's actually terrible. Matter of fact, they don't have the chips, but they're going to charge you $5,000 to $10,000 extra for the car in case the chip does come in early.
Yep.
Yeah, we're not giving you any money. You're done. Yeah,
well,
so
Well, you know about my car nightmares, and one of the big issues I had when I was trying to get my transmission fixed was they kept telling me that they couldn't get the computer. They kept telling me that the computer was on order and it was backlogged, and it's because of the chip shortage. So this is going to go both ways. So, like I said, with Biden putting these restrictions on the high-end chips, China's only alternative is basically to go to Taiwan, which is like their sworn enemy, or South Korea. Now, South Korea might want to play, but we'll have to see if they're going to play or not, because we got the problems with North Korea, right? So South Korea may not be interested in selling to the Chinese. But as far as the United States goes, we're not going to be selling high-end chips to the Chinese anymore. I think everybody thinks like it goes the other way around. It's like, no, the Chinese have the low-grade chips, not the high-grade chips. We got the high-grade
Never knew
chips.
that. Interesting. Yeah.
Taiwan, I think as far as high-end chips go, I think it's basically United States, Taiwan, South Korea, and Japan. That's basically it for the high-grade chips,
So are you saying that China's a little bit dumber?
Well, it depends on which China. It depends on which China, because the Taiwanese can make them. Taiwan can make these things. You know what I mean?
Taiwan, yeah. So they're a little bit smarter than the Chinese. Is that what they're saying?
Well, they are Chinese. I'm just trying to say that.
They are.
Taiwan are the Taiwanese are the official name for Taiwan is the Republic of China. That's the official name of Taiwan.
Yeah, because I know a lot of Japanese people, and I'll tell you what, there's some pretty smart people. They are smart. I mean, real smart, and good people too. Great people, good food too. Yeah, real good. We used to down in LA. Used to stop at the. It was a place down off of. If I remember, it's either Venice Boulevard or Washington Boulevard, right down there. And technically it was a suburb of Los Angeles, but it was either Mar Vista or something to that effect. Culver City, Mar Vista. That was the name of the city, and boy, they had this Japanese. It was like a deli. Oh man, good stuff, and they had that real good sticky white rice, and they come out. They take the meat out, and they'd slice it nice and thin for you, and they'd lay it right up on top of that rice. And sometimes they had some sauce on the side. Sometimes they poured it on there for you. Man, with some vegetables and stuff. Man, that sucker was good. It was good.
I wish I could remember the name of the place, but you know how I live in like South Scottsdale. We found a new place, my kids and I, this last weekend, and they call it an Asian kitchen. That's what they call it, Asian kitchen and bar. Mm-hmm. And I can't remember the name of it, like what the restaurant is called. But we went there this weekend, and we had some great sushi. Like really good sushi. The girl, my kids were like really into it. Wow. One of my kids had some tempura, some vegetable tempura, and with shrimp. It was shrimp and vegetable tempura, so it's like fried vegetables with fried shrimp. And she let me taste some of it, and that was really good. That tempura was really good. I wish I could remember the name of the place. I would give them a free advert. Maybe we should try to get them as a sponsor for the show or something like that. Sure. Check it out one of these days. But it was also nice because it wasn't a chain. Like there's a Roz very close to me, and I'm not saying anything bad about Roz. I like Roz, but Roz is a corporate chain. This place was independent. You know what I mean? It was just like a mom and pop place, and we really liked it. We really enjoyed it. So. There is some good Japanese food, even here in Arizona.
We should get some other places out there, like Christie's, out there in downtown Phoenix, right there by the airport.
Yeah,
they got some good food there too. Of course, I wouldn't know anything about that. Yeah, I wouldn't know anything about that. No, I'm just playing. Japanese food is different than Chinese food, and Taiwan. Actually, how do they say that? Taiwanese food, is that how they they pronounce
Oh,
it.
I mean, you say Taiwanese, but like I
There
said,
it is.
most
Taiwanese.
okay.
That's it.
Here's the thing about Taiwan, okay? Because I had a friend that was from Taiwan, okay? The thing about Taiwan is the majority of the people in Taiwan consider themselves Taiwanese, okay? They consider themselves their own people.
Taiwanese.
But the
yes.
reason that Taiwan is separated from China is that's where Chiang Kai-shek went when he lost the Chinese Civil War. So all the nationalist Chinese, their military that was left, they all went to Taiwan. They're Chinese, right? Like, Chiang Kai-shek was Chinese. His guys were Chinese. And they dominated the politics of Taiwan for the next 50, 60 years until very recently. His party, the Nationalist Party, which I can't remember the official name. So there's a mixture, right? There's a mixture of people in Taiwan. It's a lot like Okinawa. Like if you think of Okinawa, Japan, Okinawans tend to think of themselves as Okinawan. They don't necessarily think of themselves as Japanese. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So it's like, it's a very similar kind of thing, but Okinawa is part of Japan, right? It has been part of Japan for hundreds of years. And Taiwan's got a more complex history because Taiwan actually was a Japanese colony for a very long time. So it's traded hands back and forth. And so you've got this mixture of people who kind of consider themselves Taiwanese, but then you've also got a very large minority that are Chinese. They're Chinese. They consider themselves Chinese, right? The official name of Taiwan is the Republic of China, So it's like, you got two different cultures going on there, A lot of people, I think, don't realize that China is much more an empire than it is just like a regular country. There's lots of different ethnicities within China. You know what I mean? We think of them as all Chinese. They're not. You know what I mean? They're Mandarin. You know what I mean? They're Cantonese. They're Taiwanese. They're all these different ethnic groups. In China, we kind of have bought the Communist Party line that China is like this homogenous country where everybody's the same. It's not true. It's more of an empire.
Do you think what's his name? Chi? Is that his name? The leader down there?
Z?
Yeah,
Z, right?
Whatever.
XI. That's
it. XI,
President Z. President Z.
Do you think those people out there in Taiwan, not Taiwanese because we know how they are, but the other ones that you were talking about there, do they think they are part of that China Communist Party, or are they just
well, most people aren't, right? The Chinese Communist Party, I think the last time I checked, is somewhere between 15 and 20 million. Okay, there's over a billion people in China. Okay.
Oh yeah,
there's over a billion people. So that's not even 1%, right? I mean, well, it's a little bit over, right? That's a little bit over 1%, right? If we're talking a billion people, okay. So I'm trying to do my math in my head. It's still less than 2%, right? That's less than 2% of the population. So the vast majority of people in China are not even invited to join the Communist Party. They're not.
What about? I was going to say, what about the military? How big is that military? It's over 1 million, right?
Over 1 million, yeah. I think China has the largest army in the world. The only one that I think might be in the same right up there is North Korea. North Korea has a huge army too.
Interesting. So,
which is funny because North Korea doesn't have that anywhere near as large a population, but like everybody's in the military in North Korea, basically. It's kind of like Israel, right? Where everybody's in the military, right? So
yeah. Well, yeah. Well, they're all constantly fighting. They never stop. But so Mr. XI himself out there thinks he's running all this stuff, right?
What's that?
Right? He thinks he's running the shit out there, right? Is that what he thinks? Yeah, out there in China?
Is. I mean, it sounds like
he says he is.
I don't know, because the Party Congress is going on right now, and they're saying they're going to make him president for life. He's a dictator now, essentially. They're going to make him president for life. Yeah, you didn't hear that? They're going to make him president for life. That's what everybody's saying. That
is so stupid. The guy doesn't even make sense half the time. I know he has his he wants to be, the supreme leader for the rest of his life, and his family and his whole generation of, while everybody else is starving to death out there. It's bad enough in Shanghai. Was it Shanghai, the where all the skyscrapers are? Is that
Yeah,
it?
Shanghai is like the big financial hub. It's like the New York of the East. You know what I mean? Like it's the big financial hub of China.
Remember we were talking about that last show about all those screaming people on the and I it was funny. I didn't. There's some big hosts out there that I follow. Of course, not just us, but I follow some other big time shows out there. You got Glenn Beck. He's out there. He's tearing it up out there. He's letting everybody know what's going on, the big reset and what the banks are doing, with right down to the richest people in the world, what they're doing, and everybody from the Rothschilds all the way up, and all these what they're doing to everybody else, and the new money system that they're trying to implement, and for their benefit. And you got some other good hosts. Dan Bongino show. It's on Fox News. He has his own show, but he's awesome. Have you seen that show at all?
Well, I don't have Fox News. I got rid of my cable a long time ago. So
did you? That's good.
In fact,
you did because
it's kind of just a little segue into our next segment. Speaking of things that I've canceled, speaking of things that I've canceled, one of the things I canceled recently was Netflix. So I've actually got a couple articles I wanted to show you about Netflix. And one of the things I used to cover on the old Retro Rogues live show is we used to cover the streaming wars. And the streaming wars, of course, are very relevant for you and I because we're filmmakers. And it's really important for us to kind of be, really aware of what's going on with the new streaming, not the news, even the new streaming services, just all streaming services, right? So here's a Associated Press article. You able to see it? Okay, Rob?
Yeah.
Okay. So it says this is from the Associated Press. It says Netflix rebounds from recent subscriber losses with a third quarter gain. So Netflix reversed its recent subscriber losses with the summertime gain that management is hoping to build upon with the upcoming launch of a cheaper version of the video streaming service that will include ads for the first time. The Los Gatos, California company disclosed Tuesday that it picked up 2.4 million subscribers during the July to September period. This is a comeback from a loss of 1.2 million customers during the first half of the year amid stiffer competition and soaring inflation that's squeezing household budgets. By the way, I like that little propaganda there because that's not what it's all about. But anyway, Netflix now boasts 223 million subscribers, enabling the company to at least temporarily reclaim the mantle as the world's largest video streaming service. Walt Disney Company eclipsed Netflix in August when it reported its service had 221 million subscribers, a number that will be updated November 8th when Disney is scheduled to report its summertime results. So Disney might strike back in the streaming war here. After a challenging first half, we believe we're on a path to re-accelerate growth, Netflix predicted in a shareholder letter accompanying the third quarter results. The uptick in subscribers also helped Netflix earn $1.4 billion, or $3.20 per share, a 4% dip from the same time last year. Revenue climbed 6% from last year to $7.93 billion. The subscriber gains, earnings per share, and revenue all topped analyst projections compiled by FactSet. So one thing I think is really interesting is I know Netflix trades for something like a couple $100, I think. But isn't it funny to realize that it's technically only worth $3.10 a share? Isn't that kind of funny when you think about it? I mean, because that's if they actually were to take the total value of the company and just divide it among the shareholders, it would be $3.10. Isn't that funny how stocks work? I mean, that's crazy, isn't it?
It's funny. It's funny to us, but not for them. I'll tell you that right now.
But it's been like that, Rob. I mean, it's been worse because Netflix is deflated right now, right? So Netflix stock is going down, but it's but it's not anywhere near $3.10 a share. You know what I mean? It's nowhere near that, you know.
You also said a really bad word there. You said,
what's that?
Disney.
And
yeah, because Disney's in a lot of trouble right now. Did you see the news today on them? Oh,
no, I didn't.
I don't even want to say it right now. We talk about it privately somewhere else because it's not good. I don't even want to say it. If they had anything to do with them at that moment, there's some crazy stuff going on. We'll talk about that some other. I don't want to even talk about it right here because it's kind of crazy. Yeah, not.
I did have a couple more things about Netflix that I wanted to share with you because there's some.
Yeah, go ahead.
There's a lot going on with Netflix right now.
What else is going on? Because when you said Disney, that was kind of because Disney's, there's some stuff going on with them that's not too happening right now, and they're trying to dig out of that hole that something happened. And
well, Disney and Netflix are definitely the main competitors in the streaming wars right now. I don't think there's any doubt of that right now, that because they're seesawing. Like I said, according to that article back in August, Disney had actually surpassed Netflix, and now Netflix is back. And in November, when Disney starts reporting their earnings, Disney could be striking back. But here's another thing about the Netflix story that I wanted to share with you. So it says here, this is from the USA Today. This is dated today, October 18th. And it says, Netflix account crackdown. Sharing your password. It will cost you starting in 2023.
What?
Sharing your Netflix password with people who are not in your household, your days may be numbered. Netflix said Tuesday it will roll out plans globally to monetize account sharing early next year. How it will work. Netflix will make it easier for you to share your Netflix account with family or friends who don't live with you by creating sub-accounts or extra members. Each sub-account would get a login, profile, and personalized recommendations. The company said this week that you will also be able to transfer your profiles to new accounts, which will make it easier for people who share accounts to get their own. We've landed on a thoughtful approach to monetize account sharing, and we'll begin rolling this out more broadly starting in early 2023, Netflix wrote in a letter to shareholders. After listening to customer feedback, we are going to offer the ability for borrowers to transfer their Netflix profile into their own account, and for sharers to manage their devices more easily and to create sub-accounts, extra member, if they want to pay for family or friends. Do you get what's going on here, Rob? They are going to crack down on the password sharing. So if you have, like, one thing I wonder about is, you know, my situation, I have kids that I'm not with their mom. They go back and forth. And I can't help but wonder, are they going to, if I hadn't canceled Netflix already, right? Because I did, would they come after me because they're trying to do Netflix at their mom's house and my house? That's what they're going to be going after in this.
So you're going to have a Netflix police, huh? Is that what's happening here?
Yeah. And don't you like the spin in the article, though? The spin is all like, oh, now you can add family and friends. I've always been, I added my family and friends a long time ago, right? By sharing my password, and now they're like, now we're going to give you this option. Well, what's going to happen when you don't take the option and you're sharing your password, right?
Yeah. Well,
that's what they don't want to tell you.
Well, plus they didn't say how much it was going to cost to share it too. I think you just say, come on, what do you do? Set up like 10 people right now and go ahead and get their location set, ready to go. So when it's time, you just give them a rundown of 10 different people, well, whatever, how many people it is, and just tell them and say, yeah, this is all my family. What am I going to have to prove they're all my family next on top of that? and for free, or are you going to charge me 50
they're going
cents
to
for
charge.
each one?
They're going to charge. You know that.
Yeah, they
They
haven't said it
absolutely
yet.
are going to charge you for these sub
It's coming.
accounts.
All these people,
it's
they all,
absolutely coming.
everybody gets their hands out, man. Everybody has their hands out. Yeah, so you got rid of it. It's gone. So you got no more. It's
Yeah. I have the Disney bundle. I have the Disney bundle, which is Disney Plus, Hulu, and ESPN Plus, and I just didn't feel justified in paying for both services anymore. You know, obviously I'm trying to save some money. You know my situation, so I'm trying to save some money. I'm trying to cut expenses and stuff like that, and so I couldn't justify doing both. To be honest with you, I'm even thinking about getting rid of Disney Plus. But the reason I'm not getting rid of the Disney bundle is my kids like anime, and there's a lot of anime on Hulu. Hulu actually has a lot of anime. So does Netflix, but Hulu actually seems to have more anime than Netflix does. So that's one of the reasons I made my decision. And also, as far as I know, they didn't renew Cobra Kai. Cobra Kai was my favorite show on Netflix, and they have not announced a renewal of Cobra Kai. So that's another reason that I personally dropped Netflix. So I've chosen sides in the streaming wars. I'm basically, even though I have lots of problems with Disney as a company, I currently am only a Disney bundle subscriber. I'm no longer a supporter of Netflix at all. I've cut that cord, so to speak.
So,
and I have one more. I have one more Netflix thing for you that I think is very interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. And I think you're going to think this is interesting as well. So do you see this article? This is from, let's see, techcrunch.com. Okay. And this is dated October 7th. All right. And it says, Netflix reaches historic deal with AMC, Regal, Cinemark to show Knives Out sequel in theaters. For the first time, a Netflix movie is getting a 1-week theatrical sneak preview event across 600 AMC, Regal, and Cinemark theaters in the U.S. The historic deal marks the first time all three major theater chains have agreed to show a big-budget Netflix movie. Viewers will get a chance to watch Glass Onion, a Knives Out mystery, the Knives Out sequel, in theaters during Thanksgiving weekend. That's November 23rd to the 29th, exactly 1 month before Netflix releases the film to its platform on December 23rd. Tickets go on sale Monday, October 10th. The streaming giant also announced yesterday that the film would play in select theaters across the U.S., Canada, the UK, Ireland, Italy, Germany, Spain, Israel, Australia, and New Zealand. Netflix acquired the rights to Glass Onion, a Knives Out mystery, and Knives Out 3 for a reported $450 million. The streamer is likely hoping the theatrical release will bring new subscribers to the streamer who want to watch the film in their homes. Over the summer, the company experienced a loss, we already talked about, of nearly 1 million subscribers, and I am now part of that loss. So what's really interesting about this, Rob, is that for forever, the movie theaters have basically told Netflix they will not show their movies because Netflix has insisted in being able to release those movies in the theater and on Netflix at the same time. So for the first time, the theaters have made a deal where Netflix is going to be releasing these movies, basically a month before it comes out on their service in the theater. So this is kind of a big deal.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. So do you actually want to go see this in the movie theaters?
I didn't see the first one. Did you? Did you see it? Knives Out?
No.
I didn't either.
Yeah. I mean, Cobra Kai is, yeah. I still need to catch the last season here. I still haven't got time to even see that yet. So.
Well, I think you actually came on my stream, I think, for a little while. Remember, I actually had to watch both seasons back to back. I had to watch the last season because I had missed the previous season. And I actually watched Cobra Kai, the last 2 seasons back to back. And I will say this, because I think the last season is season 5 at this point. In my review, I kind of mentioned that I definitely favored season 4 over season 5. But still, As far as I know, as of right now, Netflix has not announced a renewal of Cobra Kai. So that's one of my reasons that I'm like, why do I need Netflix? Cobra Kai was the only thing I was watching on Netflix. So why do I need Netflix anymore?
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, I mean, I got to watch it. Give me something to do. It's pretty good stuff. Really surprised. A lot of people make fun
I love
of it.
Johnny. I love Johnny and I
Yeah, I
love
mean,
Crease. Crease and Johnny are my
uh,
jam, man. They're awesome.
you know, people, I talk to other people about it and say, hey, did you catch the Cobra Kai? They're like, what? Nah, I ain't watching that. That's, well, that's dorky. It's like,
Dorky.
so, come on, man. I said, you haven't seen it. I says, you got to watch it.
Is that your kids talking?
It's awesome.
Is that your kids talking?
No.
Is that your kids saying it's dorky?
No, this is other adults. Other adults.
Holy
I
cow,
don't
man.
get it. I'm like,
these guys don't like Karate Kid or what?
I go, man, it's beyond 2.0, man. It's 5.0. It's good stuff, man. It's all up to date. It's a whole different world, man. But the same actors, but they just turned it up big time. A lot of surprises in it, It's really cool stuff. So what else you got going on out there? What else you got going on out there?
We've got the thing that I think that you've been chomping on the bit to talk about, right? The midterm elections, right? You wanted to know what's going on with the polls, right?
Man, let me tell you, Carrie Lake is tearing it up. I'll be honest with you. I'm going to run for governor myself. You know that, right? I was actually going to run for governor. Had a little mishap. Kind of took me out of the game. And I've reached out to a couple of people just here not too long ago and haven't got any responses, but that's all right. We'll just kind of chill out for a while and see what happens. But, after we'll just talk about a couple of people. The Republicans, Carrie Lake, all the Senate and congressmen and all these people that are either in or trying to get into government that are Republicans or conservatives or even independents for that matter. And it's different factions of people too. It's on. If you want to call it a red wave, whatever. People are pissed, and it's a matter of time before Trump or someone else that's pretty comparable to Trump is going to step up, and they're going to be following a great leader here real soon. And people have had it; they're done. The giant is awake, and watch out. It's a landslide of. It's just not really conservative people. That's a given right there, but it's people that just know what's right and what's wrong. Even people that were Democrats their whole life that have been blinded by lies. Even I was. It's all come to light now. Everybody sees the truth now because the evidence shows. You can't dispute it. You're poor. I just went shopping today, and a 12 pack of eggs is $9. $9, not $2. not $2.50, not at $3 on a bad day. $9. Loaf of bread, they got some good deals. Still around $2.50, $3, somewhere even the 4.5 mark for a loaf of bread. Don't even ask for meat. Matter of fact, I had to walk right by it. A steak for $15, $20 for a steak that was only that big. I got a family of 4. And let me tell you something. There was more fat than steak on that damn steak. And let me tell you, it wasn't good. And so I ended up going down buying the hamburger meat. And the hamburger meat was it's pretty expensive too, but it wasn't as bad as steak. Even the chicken. I mean, I just walked right by it. I saw it. I saw the price. If I would have bought one of each, pork, steak, chicken, it would have been $100. And that would have been one piece each, Not that extreme, but it's pretty close. That's bad. That's bad. And thank God I don't drink anymore. At least right now. But I'll tell you what, couldn't afford it. Could not afford it, especially smokers. Holy smokes, $10 a pack of cigarettes? I mean, and I know cigarettes are bad for you, but my God, so it's $10 a pack. That'll put you in a hole. You don't need to smoke for that. So,
yeah, it's crazy.
These people trying to make sense of society right now. The backlash from these Democrats is this far. I don't even call them lefties. Hell, that's not even left anymore. It's like, who are these people? It's not even real. I know they're eating meat. I know they are. And for them to stand up and still applaud when Biden gets there and keeps lying, the rest of the people that are backing the president's program that he's trying to run, it's not working. It's bad. And we need to stop it. And people are trying to stop it, but they're taking our money and they're just throwing it away. And people have had it with that too. Forget not just the food and the bills. Here's winter. Winter's here. It's snowing already in some places. And now it's time for the oils for their furnaces for these people in the Midwest to far East Coast, because they're not geared up for solar power and wind farms. And
did you hear what Biden's doing? What his answer is?
I've heard a lot of stupid answers, but what do we got here?
So he's opening up the strategic oil reserves again.
Yes.
So rather than increase production, which is what he needs to do, right? He needs to increase production. He needs to let the shale go. He needs to let the offshore drilling go. He needs to let it go, let it happen, because we can do it. The United States is a net oil producer, not a user anymore. We actually make more. We are capable of making more oil than we need. We're capable of it. But they keep constraining the domestic oil industry. And so what's his answer? The strategic reserves.
Yeah.
That to me is garbage. The strategic reserves are there when we can't produce enough oil for ourselves. That's what the strategic reserves are for. You know what I mean? The strategic
not just
reserves are
that.
there in case like, let's just say all of a sudden, we had no more oil. Like literally Texas just dried up. Alaska dried up. You know what I mean? We've
Sure.
got the strategic oil reserves that can keep us going for, I think it's something like 16 months, something like that. Right? That's the idea. This gentleman, okay,
Or
this
go,
gentleman, I'll
or
call
go
it,
to war.
okay?
Or go to war.
Right. That's why it's strategic oil reserves. The whole reason for the strategic oil reserves is back to the original Gulf War, right? Because we got hit hard when Saddam Hussein invaded Kuwait. There was a lot of problems.
That's
and
That's
George
right.
Bush Sr., the original Bush, he decided we needed to have reserves in case. Actually, it goes farther than that. It goes all the way back to the oil crisis under Carter. So this stuff started with Reagan, when Reagan decided to do the strategic oil reserves, right? Because of the OPEC, when OPEC, which by the way, that's happening again. OPEC is lowering their the gallons. They're lowering the amount of production, and a lot of people are saying they're doing that to appease Putin, right? Even Biden said that. Biden accused the Saudis of teaming up with Russia. But his answer is he's going to open up the reserves instead of opening up more drilling, more fracking, all that kind of stuff. Is what we actually need. It's actually going to help. And actually, that's not just going to help us, because if we can make more than we need, guess what we can do? We can bail out Germany. We can bail out Germany, though, because Germany is getting hit very hard. Really hard. People aren't talking about that. Germany is getting hit really hard. And I'm telling you this, I am not a fan of the Germans. I'm half Estonian, okay? And between the Germans and the Russians, the Estonians basically are always getting screwed, okay? Always, their entire history, all right? The history of Estonia. But the Germans are suffering greatly right now because they are supporting Ukraine, right? And because of that, they're suffering greatly because of the energy crisis. Nord Stream 1, or not Nord Stream. Is it Nord Stream? Was destroyed, right? The pipeline from Russia to Germany was destroyed. Okay, so the Germans are really suffering. And what's funny is the Germans went to the Canadians to what's his name? It's Trudeau, right? Trudeau is the Canadian Prime Minister.
Mr. Trudeau.
You know what he said?
Yeah.
What he said? Go pound sand.
Ah.
The Canadians aren't going to make any more oil for them. And Canada has the largest oil reserves in the world. Okay. Yeah. So, and they said, we're not going to increase production. Why? Because of the environmentalist wackos, right? Because they're owned by the environmentalist wackos. And so are we. So what is Biden going to do to try to win this election? He's opening up the strategic reserves instead of increasing production. And it is so dishonest. And I just hope Americans don't fall for this garbage. I hope they don't, but I have something for you to say that maybe they're not going to. I have an article here. I want to show you real quick, because I think you're going to like this. And by the way, there's some very interesting numbers in this article, things that I wouldn't have expected. Okay, so this article is from the New York Times. It is dated. Let's see what the date on this is. It's dated October 17th, 2022. The title reads, Republican gained edges as voters worry about the economy and times. This is a Siena poll, okay? It says, with elections next month, independents, especially women, are swinging to the GOP despite Democrats' focus on abortion rights. Disapproval of President Biden seems to be hurting his party. Republicans enter the final weeks of the contest for control of Congress with a narrow but distinct advantage as the economy and inflation have surged as the dominant concerns, giving the party momentum to take back power from Democrats in next month's midterm elections. This is from a New York Times Siena College poll. The poll shows that 49% of likely voters said they plan to vote for a Republican to represent them in Congress on November 8th, compared with 45% who plan to vote for a Democrat. The result represents an improvement for Republicans since September, when Democrats held a 1-point edge among likely voters in the last time's Siena poll. By the way, I don't believe that, but that's what they say. The October poll's unrounded margin is closer to 3 points, but not the 4 points that the rounded figures imply. With inflation unrelenting and the stock market steadily on the decline, the share of likely voters who said economic concerns were the most important issues facing America has leaped since July, to 44% from 36%, far higher than any other issue. And voters most concerned with the economy favored Republicans overwhelmingly by more than a 2-to-1 margin. So here's the graph, Rob, and this is what I find kind of surprising. Okay, so it says, which party's candidate are you more likely to vote for in this year's election? Again, 45% Democrat, 49% Republican. But let's talk about gender, men. This is not surprising. Generally, I think the stereotype says Republicans get more men. Okay, so it says 45% of men are supporting Democrats, 50% of men are supporting Republicans. Okay, but women, this is what is the key, because the stereotype says that women support the Democrats. It's dead even, Rob. 47% to 47%. Dead even among women. Dead even. What do you think about that?
Who did this poll?
This is from the New York Times and Siena, which I'm not familiar with Siena, but I am familiar with the New York Times. So,
yeah, New York Times. I don't trust them as far as I kick them. I mean, those polls right there. I would add another 30% to the red side there completely. And I just the fact that the women are 50-50 right now, that just goes to show you they can't even hide it anymore. They've been hiding this crap for so long, it's not even funny. That 47% to 47%, I don't believe that. I believe it's 30%, if not lower on the women's side, on the blue side, to 60 to 80% on the Republican side. Easy. Look at what's happening in New York. They for governor, it's a tie race right now for a Republican over Democrat. First time in what, 2 decades, 3-4 decades? I don't even know what it is.
Pataki? Pataki, he was the last, but Pataki was the last Republican governor of New York.
Yeah, it's been a long time. There's another guy running right now. Can't remember his name. He's real popular. If you can find it, I'd appreciate. He's running for governor. He's tied right now. I mean,
in what state?
It's New York governor.
Here, I'll look it up if you want to tap dance for a while. I'll go look it up.
Yeah. The biggest thing right now, people are starting to come together. They're realizing what's happening out there. You can't hide it anymore. People are starting to come together. The Hispanics, everybody, Native American, even the Native Americans, African Americans. I'm trying to be politically correct, but they're all moving to the right hard, and because they know they're starving to death. Everybody's starving. I'm starving. I know you're starving. You're cutting. Well, you get rid of Netflix. I mean, and it's not because you wanted to. It's because, hey, we're starving, and I'm telling you, there he is right there. Yep, there he is. He's beating the crap out of her.
So it says polls show. By the way, I'm going to butcher their names. Polls show.
I was going to say.
Hochul's lead dwindling as Zeldin gains in New York suburbs. And by the way, this is still New York Times, so we're being consistent. 2 polls released on Tuesday showed Governor Kathy Hochul's lead narrowing over her Republican challenger, Representative Lee Zeldin, with one poll showing a 4-point lead. It says the race for governor of New York appears to be tightening. According to a pair of polls released on Tuesday, this is dated October 18th, 2022, the latest indication of renewed momentum for Republicans as they seek to set an upset in a solidly Democratic state. With 3 weeks until Election Day, Governor Kathy Hochul The Democratic incumbent saw her lead over Representative Lee Zeldin shrink to 11 percentage points, down from 17 points last month. This is again according to a Siena College poll released early Tuesday morning. Hours later, a Quinnipiac University poll suggests an even tighter race, with Mitz Huchel leading by just 4 percentage points. The narrowing gap suggested that New York voters were growing more concerned about the state's direction, much as recent polling nationwide has indicated that the economy and stubborn inflation remain top of mind concern as Republicans have expanded their edge over Democrats ahead of November's midterm election. So there you go.
Right.
Representative Zeldin is definitely increasing his poll numbers, and it looks like he is in contention.
Right.
New York is contested.
Let me tell you, the giant is awake, and that's all of us. It's not, it's funny is when I look at people, I don't think of people as left and right, or up or down or whatever. I don't look at it that way. And if you got your views, you got your views. I get it, But what's right is right, and what's wrong is wrong, and you can't dispute that. And if you try to dispute it, then you got a problem. Then that's when you got to say something. And that's where a lot of heated arguments come from. But right is right. And right now, Republicans are trying to jump on this bandwagon, trying to be on the right side. And because they're on the right side, it's because they're trying to be on the right side because it's right, like right and wrong. But even those that have been playing that field for a while, they're going to lose their jobs too. Everybody's watching the rhinos. Everybody's watching the left very closely. And there's no way around it. There's no way around it. When you start out and you're taking our money and you're giving it away, you got a problem. And we're not going to deal with that anymore. Matter of fact, some of these people out there that make some big decisions, I might have a little hand in it myself here coming up shortly, and try to get a lot of this stuff straightened out. At least try, because that's all people are asking for is just try. Get up there and say something, and try to ruffle some feathers and say, hey, wait a minute, we're hungry, and what are you doing? And we could sit here for hours and talk about this. I mean, you don't get me going, because I can get real hyped up about this stuff real quick. And but I'll
tell you, I'm really surprised about New York, because I did not hear that the race was tightening as much as it was. And that's actually news to me. And I'm just like, wow, because you think, especially today, I mean, New York used to be contested. I mean, Giuliani was the mayor of New York City. He's a Republican. Tacky was the governor. That was what? Gosh, that was around 9/11 or whatever. And since then, it's all been Democrats. Cuomo, wonderful Cuomo and his brother and their little scandal. You know what I mean? The Cuomo brothers. And of course, that goes back to their dad. He was the governor of New York forever too. But this is, this is interesting. I actually, do you know who Larry Sharpe is?
I've heard the name.
Larry Sharpe is the Libertarian New York gubernatorial candidate, and I wonder if he's going to be a spoiler. I don't know if you saw some numbers, but Blake Masters actually might lose to Mark Kelly because of the Libertarian candidate. He's actually independent, but he's a Libertarian. I can't remember his name, but Libertarians might be playing some spoilers in this election. I'm just throwing that out there. And I wonder how Larry Sharpe is doing in the polls in New York.
You know what? I really don't. I don't care about that.
I can look it up. Let me look it up real quick.
Yeah. Go ahead. Again, it's what is right and what's wrong. And that's just all there is to it. Before it wasn't like that. Before you just laid down and took it, just stuck your butt in the air and said, "Okay, go ahead," And now I'm awake and my butt in the air. So it's a little different story now. So my biggest thing is you're taking our money. You're stealing from us, and you're giving our money away to other people that not even in this country. And you're feeding your, and on top of that, you're giving it to people that are in this country for their purposes for some reason. And you're not even saying anything to us. You're doing this in the middle of the night, signing stuff. I saw all that stuff. Republicans are, they're pissed. They're getting woke up in the middle of the night. So how are you going to vote? Are you going to say yay or nay for this vote? And they're waking them up in the middle of the night. They go, "You're voting on what? What the hell are you talking about?" Yeah, we need to know right now. And that's come to an end too.
I couldn't find anything, just so you know. Like, it's kind of funny. I guess they're not even showing any poll numbers right now for I don't know if the Libertarians are on the ballot this year, or if they're doing a mail-in or something like that, because I know the Libertarian Party has been having problems getting on the ballot lately. So I don't know if that's an issue in New York or not, but I can't find anything on Larry Sharpe in New York.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. I mean, right now it's all about the Republicans are trying to get in there and win the House and the Senate. That's the biggest fight right now. And the other side of the fight is the Democrats trying to stop it. And if they got to take out libertarians, independents, they're going to do it. And if they're going to put their blue,
you don't hear much about the Greens lately either. You know that? You don't hear much about the Greens. Where are the Greens?
Yeah. So that's, while you were looking that up, I was talking to, I don't know if you heard what I was talking about, but
I can still hear you.
They're spending our money, and it's getting a little irritating. Matter of fact, it is irritating. And you're spending it on people that are not even in this country. And if you're not spending it on people that are outside of this country, you're spending it on yourselves, and you're spending my money, and you're spending your money and everybody else's money. And you know what? I think that needs to stop, because we wrote the laws. We wrote the rules. We're the ones that put you in power. And guess what? We're the ones that can rewrite the rules. We can rewrite the laws, and we can have you removed from your position because we put you there. And we can rewrite rules that can take you out of your position. Not this 6-year. We were talking about this months ago, and I was asking you a question, Eric. Remember, I was saying, how long do they serve in the Senate? And you said, well, they vote in what, every 6 years? Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
At the federal level, senators have a term of 6 years.
Right, and they rotate. Right, so a certain number does 6 years, while the other side waits to get in, and they start their 6 years. So
it's staggered. So only a third of the Senate is up for re-election every 2 years. So every 2 years, we don't flip the Senate. The Senate, only a third of the Senate is up for election, whereas the entire House of Representatives is up for election every 2 years. Everybody.
So when I wasn't in a position at that time because I didn't know a lot about it. And I started looking at it a little bit closer. That really pissed me off when you said that. It really did. I was so mad inside. I was like, wait a minute. Didn't we put you guys into power? We're the ones that did it. Not you. We did it. We're the one that voted you. And you telling me I'm the guy or people that voted you in for 6 years and I can't touch you for another 6 years? No. No. I'm
It's the
sorry.
term of the Senate.
You're going.
Senators
It
have a
is
6-year term.
No. You're right. You're right. But guess what? Rules are made to be broken, and they're also made to be rewritten. And just because 15, 20 men, of decades ago decided to sit down and write on this long piece of paper, it's called the Constitution, and write all these laws and then the rules of the Senate and the Congress, the House, whatever chamber of the government. Okay, and everybody has their own little rules and their voting systems, and men and women develop this. It can be changed. It can be changed. If it's worked for all this time already. But here's the problem. It's being taken advantage of. Big time. And so you're going to tell me some dirty crook is going to rip me off and take my money and give it to somebody else and do it to millions of us Americans that have nothing to do with it. I don't even know anything about it. And you decided one day that you thought it would be a great idea to vote in $75 billion to Ukraine. One day. Just, hey, and let's go vote on it in the middle of the night. And while half of the Senate's sleeping, let's go ahead and do the vote. And so they would know about it. Let's go ahead and wake them up at 3 a.m. while they were still at their house, 10 states away. And let's wake them up and get a yes or no vote on right now. And that's what I was talking about earlier. And I remember watching it, and I was so angry. I was like, wait a minute. And I remember the congressmen and women, congresswomen, talking about this live on television just about a month ago. They're like, I got woken up in this is them talking. I got woken up in the middle of the night to vote on a bill that I had no idea about. And because I'm part of the Republicans or the Democrats, none of the Democrats were even there. They were voting for their partner on top of that. So one Democrat was saying yay for 10 other Democrats because they're on vacation. They're on vacation in the Bahamas, tearing it up, having a good time because they made their money on stock trades that they knew about because they signed it into law. But anyways, that's another story. And then here's the Republicans getting woken up in the middle of the night saying, hey, we got this bill here. You got 1 hour to say yes or no. And they haven't even read it yet.
Well, that goes back to
you
remember Obamacare, the infamous comment from Nancy Pelosi. We have to pass it so we know what's in it. We have to pass it so we know what's in it. I'm going to say it again. We have to pass it so we know what's in it. That's a direct quote from Nancy Pelosi.
I saw her say it myself, and I almost threw up in my mouth.
It's disgusting. It's disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting.
I want to stop that. I want to stop it. And if the American people have to rewrite the laws and the terms of a senator or a congressman or a woman, congresswoman or man, we got to do it. And
one of the problems I want to make this point. One of the problems is, for instance, in the scenario I just gave you, right? Pelosi is the Speaker of the House.
Right.
So that position, which is a constitutional position, It's in the Constitution that they will elect a Speaker of the House. Okay.
Yeah.
But that position has become, very powerful because basically she determines how these laws are presented, right? So when it comes to that issue of do they have enough time to read it? I think Obamacare was like 5,000 pages or something ridiculous. Okay. Yeah. It's like, no, they don't. Whose fault is that? It's hers. But what's happening? She keeps getting back in, right? And nobody holds her accountable. She keeps coming back. The Republicans will take take back Congress for 2 years, 4 years, whatever it is, but she always comes back. She always comes back. And nobody holds her accountable for that because I don't know why. I do not understand how as a member of Congress, you should be pissed about that, whether you're a Democrat or a Republican. You should want to know what's in a bill, right? You should want to, before you put your name on it, rather than just have them tell you what to do, right? Because that's what happens. They have a whip. That's what it's called. They have the majority whip and they have the minority whip. Why is it called a whip? Because that's what they do. They go and they corral votes. They call them whips. You know what I mean? It's disgusting. And the problem there is she keeps getting back in. And then when the Republicans get in, do they change the rules, Rob? Yeah. No, they don't change the rules. They still do the same exact BS.
Well, they do.
No, they don't. They don't. The rule we're talking about here, they don't change. They still ram bills through without letting members of Congress read them. They'll still put all sorts of riders on bills that have nothing to do with that piece of legislation.
But you're talking
like if we went through everything that's in the Inflation Reduction Act, probably almost nothing in it has to do with reducing inflation. But that's what they call it. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? And everybody does that, Republican or Democrat.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. I agree with that 100%. Yeah, that's right. That's what I was trying to say. It's both of them. It needs to stop. There's no reason for somebody like me needs to go out and get people together and present this to the people and say, hey, look, we wrote this. Okay. We signed off on this. We need to correct it. We need to stop it and think about it and rewrite it and say, hey, look, you start spending our money. Everybody better be, it's like Marjorie Greene, that new congresswoman. They went to go vote in the House. She walked inside to go vote. And she says, there's like 20 people in the whole place. And they're voting on a big bill. So she went there to go vote because that's where everybody's supposed to be when they're voting. And there was nobody there. It was like 20 people in the whole place. She was like, Where is everybody? Did you hear about that?
So you can get, if you've ever watched C-SPAN, you can watch this stuff actually happening where literally there's like nobody there.
I did.
And it's really sad because you'll have members of Congress trying to make points about a bill, right? And who are they talking to? The television camera. There's nobody in there.
I know.
They're not talking. The only person they're talking to is you and me because none of their fellow members of Congress are there to listen to them. It's really sad, you know?
Well, it's beyond sad. And you're spending my money. That's my money. I earn that money. And you're spending on something I don't even know anything about. Let alone, I don't mind giving you my money. But you know what I'd rather give the money to? Other Americans. The vets sitting on the side of the road that I used to help when I used to live in California. Because California is, you know how California is. You saw it yourself. The trip that we went on. Remember, hey, here's something kind of funny, kind of break it a little bit. Remember, we were driving down the 10, right? And we said to ourselves, we just crossed into San Bernardino. And you're like, hey, you got to go to the bathroom? I go, yeah, I got to go too. And you're like, okay, let's go stop over here at the gas station, right? And we
Because
stopped at
everything
the
was
gas
locked
station.
down. This is when the lockdowns were still going. Yeah.
That's right. And so we went to the first place, and it was locked, right? And they went,
Right.
I go, hey, you got a bathroom? They go, yeah, but it's locked. And I went, do you have
Ridiculous.
a key? And they went, you don't, yeah, there is no key. We sat open in public. I said, well, you guys serve food here, right? And they went, yeah. I said, well, if I eat food here, can I go to the bathroom? I even tried that trick. And they were like, no, you're not using the bathroom. I went, holy crap. So then I told you, right? Then we got back in the car. But how many places we stopped? What, 3 places, right? And we said, you know what? Screw it. Let's get all the way. We're going to Venice Beach, right? Lincoln Boulevard, Rose Avenue, one of the most richest places besides Beverly Hills or Bel Air, California in the world. That's where me or you were going, right? So we pull up. Man, remember our teeth were floating, right? we
Yeah.
had, it wasn't just we had to go one, we had to go number 1 and 2, and it was bad, right? And we got out, we were down there tiptoeing right up to that building, right? And before we got there, remember we looked out the window, we stopped at the light, we looked out to the right, and I said, holy shit, look at that. And it was a chick. She dropped her fucking drawers right there and took a fucking piss and a dump right in the fucking street right in front of us.
Yep.
And here we are.
It was like right at a bus stop. It was right at a bus stop.
It was on the corner. I remember. It was on the corner of Rose Avenue and Lincoln Boulevard. The most richest place in the world. It's 1 block from the beach. Okay. Those houses, they're not even 500 square feet. That's how big the houses are. They're tiny little things. I think the biggest one's like 800. They're over $1 million a piece. Okay. And they're just little shacks with like 2 windows on it. That's it. It's over. And there she is taking a dump in a piss right on the sidewalk. And I'm like, and here me and you trying not to go to jail for exposing ourselves outside the car, trying to just take a piss. Oh my God, I'll never forget. And it
was ridiculous.
Since the last, it is.
It was so stupid.
And the last time me and you were there, since then, it's tripled in the homelessness.
Oh yeah.
Triple. So my money, that's where my money needs to go. It needs to go to those vets. I used to take care of vets when I used to work for the hospital system out there in Santa Monica, California. And I used to drive down the alleys all the time behind the hospitals. And behind the hospitals were all the vets. They used to stay really close to the hospital because they had Agent Orange and they had a lot of lung issues, and they had a lot of skin rotting issues. Their skin was rotting off their bodies from laying in the dirty alleys constantly and getting into fights and getting stabbed with bottles. And it was really bad for a long time. And I used to talk to them all the time. I used to talk to the vets. The vets used to tell me, it was bad enough that they had PTSD. Nobody would hire them, and they'd shoo them off, so they ended up not be able to work. And the VA, after a while, they didn't have an address to go to. So the VA has these they're not called hit squads. I forget what the squads they call them. But they go out and they get in vans, undercover vans, and they drive around the alleys and stuff. And they see homeless people. They pull up next to them, jump out of the van. They clean them up real quick. They give them some food, and then some water, and they give them some medicine. They have a doctor. It's like a nurse practitioner jumps out and tries to treat them. And that's all they do all day. It's really sad, really sad. And I have a big heart, and it's not because of their vets. I'm starting with those people because they protected me first. to keep me alive long enough to get a job. And well, guess what? Payback. I'm going to pay you back. Thank you very much. If you're living in an alley, okay, you're living in an alley. If I can help you out, I'll help you out. But my money needs to go to start helping people like that first. And then start, working on the street and the bridges and all the other stuff. And, but it goes to people to keep them alive. And especially if somebody did something for me, let's take care of the people first. Then let's move on to the material stuff after that. We got plenty of it. We got plenty of money. And you know what? People look at me. I've had some pretty bad times, real bad. Last 20 years been. Might as well just went out there and just took care of myself. Just got it over with. But you know what? I'll pull your britches up, tuck that shirt in, tighten the belt a little bit, and keep moving forward. So, but those people in Congress and in the federal government, they need to do the same thing. They need to tighten because I gave them my belt, and they need to tighten that belt. They need to tuck their shirt in. They need to represent the people and what's good for us, not them. And there's other people in the world that are suffering. We know it. And you know what? Hey, I tell you what. Tell Biden, hey, since you won't give us the oil, why don't you sell to those people starving out there in Africa and stuff? Have them, get them up off the streets a little bit. How about that? Since you won't give it to us. So that's just a joke, but anyways, that's how I feel. I'm big softy like that. I love stuff like that, and I love to. Don't make me go to Washington, please. Please don't make me go there, because if I go there, it's over. I'm putting everybody on blast. Every son of a bitch. And I don't even care.
Who's your congressman now?
Oh hell, I don't know.
You don't know who your congressman is?
Come on. Don't even care.
You really are bad, Bob.
Yeah, that's right.
You don't even know who your congressman is? Who'd you vote for? 2
Well,
years ago?
Well, we have Goodman.
Mine's Schweikert. Schweikert is my congressman.
Goodman.
And I'm not going to make any comment, especially because we're over an hour right now. But it's just like maybe one of these days I'll tell you some of my thoughts on Schweikert. Find out who your congressman and let's talk about it next time. How about that, Rob? I'm giving you some homework.
Thanks, appreciate it.
So, hey, are you okay? Kind of start wrapping things up.
Yeah, I'm okay.
We're at an hour and 23 minutes right now, and I think we try to stay around an hour. So I did want to kind of end on a fun note. I told you about this, but I wanted to share this. I am going to a toy show on Saturday over at the Mesa Convention Center. So I want people to support this event, obviously, because I will be there selling toys from my personal collection. My kids will be there with me, selling toys from their personal collection. So we're trying to make some money. Speaking of people needing money, and this is something that we're doing to try to raise a little money for our family. So this is the Arizona Toy Con it's called the Mesa Mega Show, and it's going to be at the Mesa Convention Center, which is located at 263 North Center Street in Mesa. The hours are going to be Saturday, October 22nd, hours 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. with an early bird special at 9 a.m. So you pay a little bit extra if you're like a hardcore collector. You come in an hour early and try to get the choice stuff before it's all gone. Admission is $10. Early bird, if you want that extra hour, so you can come in and get the really choice stuff before everybody else sees it, that's $20. Kids 10 and under are free. So for those of you that got kids and you're looking for something to do this weekend, you can go to this. You can take your kids 10 and under for free. I am planning on, I hope I can make up some flyers to promote the Bad Bob Show and Bad Bob Productions. I was telling Rob about that. I'm hoping to have some flyers there. So please come to the event and support my table. I don't know where I'm going to be exactly. I'm going to be either in the hallway or the lobby. I know that. I won't be in the main showroom. But please support us, support the event. it should be a fun time. And again,
Yeah.
I hope to meet people out there. I wish you could come with me, Rob. We could be out there promoting the show.
So, well, I can still try. Let me find out what my child's doing here. Matter of fact, she has some stickers that she had made, and she's selling stickers. They're bitching. So maybe I'll bring those down, and if I can get down there, and who knows? I know you got a lot of good stuff, so maybe if I can get down there, maybe I'll buy some stuff off of you, because I know you got some good stuff. So I'll be sitting down buying all your stuff, and you'll be like, "Hey, save some for people." But yeah, let me find out. And oh, by the way, I looked up my Congress person. Yeah, don't even know who it is. There's somebody. That's why I don't know who it is, because it's somebody that I really didn't care about anyways. And I don't even remember the name, so I looked it up just down, like, yeah, whatever, because they don't mean nothing. See, that's the whole thing. It doesn't. You know how it is. If it doesn't mean anything to me or you, I ain't gonna vote for you just because you're a Republican or a Democrat. You're not getting a vote from me.
Well, I'm going to caution you on that, because I think it's very important right now. I'm just going to say this. I think it's very important if you want things to change, because it comes down to Pelosi. And we've got to get Pelosi out. And the only way to get Pelosi out is to flip Congress. And that means you got to vote Republican. Because if you vote Democrat, you're going to have 2 more years of Pelosi. And we can't take Pelosi anymore. I would say we can't take Schumer either. I'll be honest with you. I don't know if McConnell's that much better than Schumer, to be honest with you. Okay.
He's not.
But I would say at least for the House, anybody's better than Pelosi. Anybody. And the only way you're going to get somebody besides Pelosi is if it flips Republican.
Yeah. Yeah. I just don't want to vote for somebody and then just hope that they're going to do something good. And then all of a sudden they find out they didn't.
You know who Huckabee is, right?
Oh yeah,
Huckabee.
Love him.
He was governor of Arkansas. Okay.
Yeah,
he has a TV show. He has his own talk show on TBN.
Yeah.
That's the Christian network. He has his own show. You know what he said that I really liked?
What's that?
Because he says a lot of people like, well, what are the Republicans going to do for me? What's the difference? But why vote Republican? You know what he said? You know what? At this point, I want somebody that's not going to do anything, because right now the Democrats are doing so many bad things. I'd rather vote for somebody that does nothing than makes my life worse. And I'm paraphrasing, but that was his message. His message was, you know what?
I guess
Republicans might not do anything for you, but you know what? They're not going to make it worse.
Yeah.
And the Democrats are making it worse.
Well, and plus this, and don't forget this too. Last time I voted, they lost my vote. I called to find out where my vote, if it was accepted, and they said, Rob who? So I had to say my name again. And they went, yeah, we didn't get nothing from you. I went, okay, thank you. I'll never forget that. And of course that was the big vote right there. And it didn't happen. Ever since then, it's been on.
Well, according to Katie Hobbs, this was the most secure election in Arizona history. So,
well, yeah, it's pretty cool stuff. All right, well, anyways, but we got to go. But thanks for bringing that up. Yeah, I'll never forget that. We will be here next week, and probably Monday, Tuesday, either one of those days. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the show. We try to make it fun, and hopefully we'll see you guys soon out there. And Mr. Base God 14, Alexander the Great. It's been fun once again, and looking forward to seeing you next week, buddy.
Sounds good. I will be here, sir.
All right.
be
We'll
here.
see you guys later.